Morning, everyone. We'll go back into session here. It's 10:23. So next up on the agenda, we have divisional reports, and we have Scott Stevens, Shooting Star Casino update.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So our last meeting, we had discussions in regards to casino operations and moving forward into the next phase. After meeting with EOC on the next steps and the next processes as we discussed previously, we wanted to give it another week or two, and actually that's actually today. So just checking back in regards to moving into the next phase for Shooting Star.
Oh, Scott, so you're asking us to ask you questions?
No, yeah, well, I'm just asking basically, we went over everything, and I can go over that again with everyone if you wish, into moving into phase 2. And at the previous meeting, we said, well, let's give it another week, and we can reconvene at the council meeting, and so that's why we called in.
Did you guys get your temperature machine set up yet? The like we have at the RBC here.
The temperature machines are here. They've been programmed. We are hoping to have. We're going to do our walkthrough today. We're hoping to have them in place by Monday.
Oh, council, what do you guys think? I know you guys that have the questions about, and I know that the EOC. I know being at other facilities, you know, with the machines, more and more machines on, you know, and I know, like, even like when talking to Kathy Shavers yesterday, I know even their machines, they have every other machine on. And Grand Casino, when I was at Grand, they have every machine on. And I know those are a couple of facilities I've been to, so I know that we have a pretty good system when you walk in that front door, that there's a line. They give you a wrist band that you've been checked for your temperature, your ID, so we're tracking you if you did bring something in. So I know that we do have a pretty good system that we have in place right now, and I know we're going to be upgrading it with these new temperature machines electronically when you walk in, to kind of free up that 2 to 4 employees that are at the front door. So I know we should. I don't know. It's up, I mean, council. I mean, it's. What do you guys? I mean, what do you guys think about going to phase 2, which is just turning every other machine on? So.
Maybe go up 2 so far, 2 people. What is phase 2? So it would be the self-screening at the door, allowing smoking in some sections?
Yeah, Scott. Yeah, what's phase 2 encompass again?
No reports in we have a report here.
I do.
I can walk through the PowerPoints for you again if you like.
Yeah, just talk about phase 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay, basically what phase 2 would be, at this time, you know, we completed the 2 14-day incubation periods, and so that moves us from phase 1 into phase 2, and we were there some time ago and talking with the EOC. So phase 2, what that would look like for us would be guests and team members will be utilizing self-screening devices, which we talked about, and we're going to have those ready here shortly. Follow-up screening will occur if indication by a temperature over 100 degrees from those screening devices. Guests may smoke in sections 1 through 4. Turn on every other slot machine. at both Monoman and Bagley. And basically that is what phase 2 consists of. Now phase 3 is kind of the same thing. We'd have to go through those 28-day period without any issues with any clusters. I did speak with Ed Snetzinger yesterday. I just wanted to touch base with him again to identify, okay, any changes in our area that would cause concern. And he told me that the dial has not moved at all in the amount of cases that we have here. Stick to your protocols, stick to your plan. Things are looking good. So that's why we are presenting to you guys to see if we want to move forward.
And Scott, how many employees will we call back if we go to phase 2?
Phase 2, we don't have, really, it's just turning on more machines. There could be, as we sift through this, based off from business, as we see business pick up, there could be more team members needed. But at this time, we just have to wait and see how that business trend, how the guests return, at what percentage. Phase 3 would be where we would then return more team members.
Are we getting a lot of complaints about the smoking, the non-smoking, and also the amount of machines that are just on?
Well, we are receiving complaints on both sides when it comes to, smoking and non-smoking. We are receiving those. We're receiving comments on the other side saying we should leave it like this, non-smoking. So we are getting some of that feedback. As for machines being on, what we feel that we're seeing, Mike, is the availability of machines with the limit that we have on right now. We feel that could be turning some of our guests away, especially on your busier times, because their machines aren't there, or that style machine that they like to play isn't there. So why should I come back as often? We did hear comments on that from a few players that you need to turn on my machine. If you're going to have me come back more, so we are hearing some of that.
What do you guys think?
My daughter's mask, she got it.
They're putting more safety measures in those electronic transfer machines. Starting Monday, so I'm just, what does council think about going to phase 2? I know they've been way past the 2 incubation periods.
I agree with you.
One thing to think about as well, if phase 2, was approved today, the clock would start for that 20-day period in order for us to roll into phase 3. Once we completed that, and if we completed it without any issues, at that point in time, we'd have to start planning now to get out our mailers and everything else for September, to get them approved and to get the mailers out and everything. And we would like to do is just be able to roll into phase 3 if there are no issues, just given the date. The other thing with phase 3, at that time, we'd look to bring back 100-some employees at that time. And then based off of business and how conditions are, it could be a few more.
Can you hire anybody right now? Say to clean the machines if you go to school?
Did you hear that, Scott?
Yeah, yeah, you know, that's one of those, it's delicate. I mean, personally, we'd like to bring our whole staff back, you know, but the delicate situation is revenues, you know, right now, what we're bringing in versus the payroll. So we could definitely take a look at some of those things, but it's challenging right now.
I think they use, daily was good. I don't think they can.
Well, we're using behavioral health funds. So
Oh,
it has to be cleaned up.
They're not doing backgrounds either, and I think that might be a gaming license issue.
line for it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just phase two. I know like our competitors that are around us are kind of pulling away from us, I guess, but their businesses with their machines. But I guess when it comes to us as council, we have to look at the jobs that are gonna, I think when this week ends, I think that $600 surplus of their unemployment checks. I know some people are gonna be kind of getting panicky and kind of probably calling us. We're gonna start calling us. We're gonna start getting a lot more calls for work. So I know we are as council trying to, you know, we're trying to bring back people as fast as we can to on the government side to get them back into the program so we can keep fulfilling those services like through behavioral health or through WISA or through, you know, through human services, you know, that we have to have these services ready. So I know that we're doing what we can on this side. And I know gaming that, you know, it's you know, and Alan did his report here a little while ago, and you know, of course we're a little above the profit line at both properties, and we ain't making what we were making last year. I know, of course, but I know that we have to think about our band membership that like to come back to work. So I don't know. I'm just throwing out there. I know the EOC is doing a great job over there with testing and, you know, solutions on finding, you know, when we do have hotspots arise that we're all notified. You know, we're all invited to the 9 a.m. Zoom meeting every day and ask questions, and I'm on there as much as I can to ask questions and, you know, find out about certain areas and what's happening out in the resorts and what we're doing public health wise, because Pat Butler's on there. So we do have a pretty good line of communication that goes from our EOC to our, you know, to our council. So, but I mean, it's up to the council to, you know, to make this decision to go into phase two. I know we're probably, you know, past those 2 incubation periods, and I know we got some new technology that's here now that we're going to be implementing. So I know it'd free up 1 or 2 team members at that front door, and then streamline our people to come in more. And when we turn on just a few more machines, I think we're only turning on how many more machines, Scott? 90 or 100 or something?
It's about 80 more machines to go to phase 2.
Right, yep, 80 more machines.
And that Bagley, how many machines we turn on more down there if we go to phase 2?
It's approximately 20 in Bagley.
So it's really not a big.
So 100 machines total, which will make an impact, certainly from a revenue standpoint.
Well, with Minnesota being one of the hotspots on the map this morning with COVID cases, and we're postponing our powwows and everything else and community gatherings, but yet we go ahead and into phase 2 of our casino. I think it's kind of defeating the purpose.
So that's no.
That's just my opinion.
Ellen?
Yeah. It's tough because I get calls from elders and they're telling me they're not in favor of big events. They're not in favor of further exposure of our communities to this virus. And that's what I'm being told. I'll tell you what, I have not received a call to the contrary. The only notifications I've received is from elders that are quite concerned about the casino, quite concerned about social events. And then there's great concern around some of these local businesses that have been exposed to the virus and them being shut down. And the thing is these are our neighbors, you know, and so that's what I've been told. So I've been told to just stand by and continue to assess.
Not for too long.
Just stand by and continue to assess. I'm not saying no. What I'm saying is let's continue to assess.
Ray?
Yeah.
What do you think, Ray?
Well, I know, I feel kind of leery about it. You know, a lot of, I know we're not getting the local people that we want, but that's because of this COVID. And I don't know, I know we do have to be moving on here, but at what cost is what I keep thinking about, you know, and when is phase 2 supposed to open? Is it soon or?
Scott, when was phase 2's dates? July something, wasn't it?
If we receive,
19th, was it?
No, 16th is when they're supposed to originally
22?
for phase 2.
Right, the original two 14-day incubation periods would have ended on July the 16th. When we were originally discussing that with EOC, and then the discussion was to check back in 2 weeks, which is today. So at this point in time, we've been open in essence 6 weeks.
so if we were to receive approval, we could be ready to go with all the equipment and the machine as early as Monday.
Well, what's not being discussed here is that, you know, we were informed last week, I think it was last week, that one of our folks over there were exposed, you know, and
Here too.
and here too even, right? So, and I know a lot of employees have walked off the job up there.
Oh,
That's
bakery?
true. At the
In bakery?
casino. They've walked out at the Shooting Star, they've walked off the job because they're worried about this virus, you know, and, for me, I want to make sure that our employees are having the best protection possible, because they go in there, they're taking a risk just like everyone else, all our workers, but then they're going home. And then if they got folks at home, then they get exposed. And then those folks have friends and family, and it goes on and on like that, you know. But I understand what the chairman's saying, you know, at what point do we, at what point?
Yeah, because we all go to Menards, we all go to Walmart, we all go to Dart store,
Yeah.
we all go to these, I mean, are they all doing the temperatures?
Those are essential though, those are essential
Yeah.
businesses too, you know.
So what?
Well, I mean, there is a difference between getting groceries and gambling.
Yeah.
Right? There is a difference, right?
A big difference.
I just know that with the exposures that have happened and employees walking off the job because of their fears of this virus, you know, I want to stand with employees.
Scott, how many walked off the job? That worries me. Scott?
Yeah, actually, I'm not aware of any with that provided that comment. I guess I'll look through HR, but for that specific reason,
Yeah, I haven't heard of
we'll
that.
definitely find out.
But it's about 50-50 on nowadays. Fenced and four, opening it up.
So how long does council wanna
They wanna
bring Scott
close,
back
go,
in?
you know.
When do we wanna come back to this again?
I think we should get a couple more weeks at least.
Well, you know, Mr. Chair, we're also having a hard time getting workers back. I mean, if we open this phase two, how many more workers are we gonna need? And are they gonna come back? Like I said, a lot of them are afraid of this COVID, and right now there's some complaining that they gotta do 2 shifts, you know, and being overworked, being burnt out.
Well, that's just,
I don't know, are we gonna be able to bring them workers back, get enough to cover that phase two?
well, Scott, how many employees have declined to return?
That is something now I don't have in front of me. I'll find out for you and get it back to you.
So when
I
I,
know there was
when I
several
say, when I say,
initially,
Scott, when I say employees, you know, that have walked off the job, that's part of what I mean is that they don't want to return to work. They don't want to return to work because they're scared. You know, that's just it.
right? I can't dispute that. I mean, the other thing that you know, we all know is right now we have a percentage of our employees that are, you know, receiving the unemployment benefits, but my concern is for them as well, as, you know, as that runs out at the end of the month, what condition does that put them in as well? So, and I don't know, to be quite honest with you, the raise question as well is, you know, how many are going to return, you know, but that would be more of a phase, you know, a phase 3 approach there to bring more people, the masses back, you know. In phase 2, that might be a handful, if, you know, if any, so.
Okay,
All right, we'll have to come bring it back and, I don't know when this council,
2
whenever,
weeks, you want,
2 weeks, something, or next
Yeah,
week, bring it
Yeah.
a
back.
couple weeks to reassess again.
I guess 2 weeks, Scott,
Okay,
but get those machines up and, going. Be good. Keep up the good work up there.
thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right, bye now.
No.
Is,
thanks, Scott.
is the EOC up on?
You on, Ed?
I am here. Can you hear me?
We can.
Yes, we can.
Okay. So, you need a department report from the EOC?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. It's day 142 since the EOC has been activated here. A lot of continuing efforts here. Testing is on a daily basis at the Stardust, and then working with Pat Butler to have these pods throughout the White Earth Reservation. To give you just a rundown here of our test, and I'm going to split it off into July and not have a cumulative. I think it gives a better picture of the current events here. So with our serology test here, this is the rapid test here. The total test completed is 1,232. We have 1,214 with no antibodies detected, 1 with IgM, 11 with IgG, and 6 with both antibodies detected. Now, as you know, that's the first step here. If individuals report contact, first line exposure, are symptomatic, then the Mayo swabs are administered at the same time here, and they get sent off to the Mayo Clinic here. And again, these are July totals here for the tests here. Total tests in July for the PCR or Mayo swabs is 432. Those that are undetected would be 364. Total detected would be 29. Tests canceled would be 3, and we are awaiting results of 36 tests completed from July here. Now, part of those numbers are from not only within the reservation boundaries, but some of our surrounding communities as well here. So Sarah and I were here at 7:30 last night, kind of compiling some numbers, and basically give you a picture of on-res specific here. And this is cumulative here. We have had 38 positives within the reservation boundaries here. 16 of those positives have been tested from other locations. For example, the IHS or the hospital or Fargo area. I would consider going back, of those 38, I would consider two active confirmed positives within the reservation boundaries. To split that 38 out a little bit more, 20, as you know from the MDH website, it would be from Monoman. The remaining 18 would be in Becker County, and we have 0 cases within the reservation in Clearwater County. Just to kind of expand on what we're continuing to do here, contact tracing is going on almost daily here. Goes on throughout the weekend with every positive. So as I probably explained last week here, once that result comes in, a call is immediately made by our dedicated nursing staff here, and then they will be given the information that a contact tracing individual will call them to get lined up with that individual here. We also have the triage line, the employee triage line in the nurses call center here. Both are very vital parts of this operation here, and they get. It really depends on day to day here as far as how busy they are. There's been times where this group has gotten 70, 80 calls in a day here. We also have the one call center, and again, that's where the constituents can call in and with any type of concerns and kind of link them up to some of the services provided that are still going on. Another item is the cultural portion here, and the project launch and materials that are going on. That again continues. The Feed Our Families initiative. That group. A little bit of change in personnel when we first started here. We had maintenance and transit drivers in there. So we're thankful for the help that they provided, and they returned back to their original departments here. So we worked with Taro and got some of those individuals in that group, and it's working out quite well here. A lot of requests for technical service here from the EOC. So if there's a department that needs help with what does this look like, or how does this apply to what we do here, we can provide that technical service here to that group as best possible. It gets to be a challenge, sometimes very complicated, to kind of maintain some of those services with COVID, out there here. As you know, we have the public information officer, and just to kind of add to that, today enrollment is going to send out, may have already done so, this public indicator system here. It's basically stay, be ready, get set, and go. And it explains to the public what phase we're in when it comes to the number of cases, and there's a number of factors that determine that, and then that would be the number of cases that we have, the number of ambulance service runs that we have, the state's doubling time rate, the percent positives, and then whether or not we have local hospital ICU beds available, PPE available, testing capability, deaths within the White Earth nation here, and then also the case clusters here. So a number of factors factor into that indicator system here, and it kind of explained that last week to you all. Number of plans, tremendous amount of plans here when it comes to what gets accomplished throughout this time here. As you know, you provided the situational report, the incident action plan, and then there's a bunch of long-term plans here that we work on as kind of a time filler. Should we have, which we really don't necessarily have any slow days here, but if we have some time to work on some of those other plans, we definitely do that here. For example, just the COVID-19 preparedness plan that applied to all departments here to have kind of a consolidated plan. Just to kind of give you an idea of what's happening today, we received these PAPRs, which are power air purifying respirators, and we're providing training to the nursing staff. That's for nursing staff that cannot use an N95. They just can't pass the fit test portion. So we provided these devices here for them for added protection. And another idea behind that is, should we have similar cases where we're running out of PPE, these items can be used and have more long-term lifespan to them here. EMP was another thing. Yesterday the nurses tested we actually had one nurse test all the EMP staff, and all came back negative with the rapid antibody. And along with, as just suggested last week, we had 15 casino staff that were tested with the rapid antibody test, and they were all negative, which was very good here. Logistics continues to acquire supply, specifically PPE, and delivering it out where it's needed. Finance, again, is doing what they do and tracking expenses, doing journal entries. It's a pretty complicated process here when you have multiple grants, and getting that where it fits in, those expenses where it fits in within that grant here. We are at this get set level. We were basically on a scale from 1 to 10, we're basically at 5 right now here when it comes to our risk indicator system here. And I would anticipate that level dropping maybe just a tad here at the end of this week. And then we'll do that tomorrow when we evaluate that risk indicator here. That's pretty much a rundown of updates here. But do you have any questions for me?
What do you think about the schools opening?
Well, that's going to be decided by the governor today here, and I really can't. I've been wrong about what the governor's going to decide here, but I guess my prediction would be is we're going to probably see a hybrid model. What I thought might work for our area, with our public schools anyways, would be perhaps half the students come in on a Monday and Tuesday, and then the other half go in on a Thursday, Friday, and then have e-learning for the remainder for those days here. But it's going to be a challenge, and quite honestly, there's going to be probably 50% within the state that are going to be mad about the decision, and there's probably going to be 50% that are in favor. So it's kind of a no-win situation when it comes to the schools here in that decision.
Okay, thank you.
Ed,
Yeah.
I have a question, a follow-up question with, remember I talked about adding human resources to your guys' meetings, about, in case we have that employee that comes up and tests positive, how do we get the word out to our employees and, that safety protocol at our gaming. So I know you guys have been working hard on that.
Yeah, thanks, Spike. I contacted Julie Dorfler beginning of this week here. I asked her to kind of send out a friendly reminder for staff to basically cooperate with the contact tracing group here, and just basically remain vigilant when it comes to your own protection and your protection of your families here. And I think every once in a while we need to, kind of let our guard down. I'm talking overall here, and we need a reminder once in a while. So yeah, we definitely can continue with that mission and working with HR folks here when it comes to employee relations, specifically for COVID-19.
Yeah, well, especially letting them know about the confidentiality and stuff, because it seems like there's always like someone's spreading something across Facebook that someone's always positive and that ended up testing that person and they come up negative. But I know that happens out in the different communities too, where people are earmarked or whatever that are accused of being positive, but then they get tested, and I don't know. But I mean, those are the things I guess that we're trying to cut down, is just try to, make sure that we do our due diligence and get our people tested. And, and like I said earlier, is keep up the good work. I know that the public health team is going out to the communities and testing, week after week. And I've been tested like 7 times now. So it's good that we get out there as council and get tested on a routine basis. I know Pat Butler was talking about us as council and our staff that work in the building, that we get tested on a regular basis. So I know these are things that we're all in favor of here at the council level, and of course, and it goes for even all of our employees, both commercial and gaming and government. So we really encourage everyone to get tested. And also our community members that are out there that are watching this, please get tested too. And these are things I think with the antibody test, I can tell if you had it in the past. So it's important that we do our due diligence and keep our community safe, is get out and get tested. So I'm thinking that we'll work out with, I think we'll talk to Pat Butler about getting some type of being more proactive with the testing out there. And I think that's something we could work with you too, is, how do we get communities to get them more rounded up to come test everyone in the community. So I think those are the things that us as council, we want to see as everyone get tested. So be good. Thanks, Ed.
Hey, Ed, it's Alan. Ed,
Yeah.
Hey, you said, how many positive cases you say?
38.
So 38 on res. I would consider 2 active right now.
38 on res, 2 active. Do you guys put out, I saw Leech Lake have like a metric, a little graphic they put out there to the membership to let everyone know where the statistics are. Could you guys start doing that today? Because I'm getting calls from brand members. They want to know what's the numbers, community members.
Yeah, what communities has the cases?
Where should I go?
Can you start putting that out today on like a graphic?
Daily, I would Roman.
We could.
Yeah.
We can put the numbers on there, res, within a reservation, and then we could split it out for county. We just acquired, and I know that's what's requested out there from the public here. And it took a bit to get those numbers because of the number of systems out there. MDH had this red cap system, which they updated one other time. So there was 3 different databases that we had to search through to get that 16 from other locations here that were tested here. Of course, we had our numbers of confirmed positives from the testing that we do here in White Earth, but it was a bit of a challenge. Like I said, we were here 7:30 last night here trying to compile that number, because quite honestly, I anticipated that this very same thing here. So yeah, we can get that out there.
Thank you. If you can get it out today, because I'm getting questions. So.
A word of caution here, though, as far as I know they want per community as well here, and I just think that's going to create some anxiety there. So I think the best approach would be to provide per county within the reservation boundaries here. So does that sound manageable? Sound where we can agree to that?
You'd be able to get a statistic for each county within the reservation boundaries. How many cases are in Clearwater County within the reservation boundaries? How many cases are in Monoma County within the reservation boundaries? And Becker County, that's what he's saying. Right, Ed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to say
Yeah,
we have
absolutely.
one point, we have 1, or, you know what I mean?
No, that might be difficult because some people don't live in the village, they might live in the county.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then I think with Jackie Dion's reports too, I know that I send off to you too, is I know those statistics in it. I think it's just on res. I think that she has on her reports. And I think, I'm not sure what, like the data that you get from the states is probably different what Jackie sends me, but I'm not sure what for reports. And Jackie's
So Mike,
I know, Jack.
that data is just a split up per county, the overall county. So it'd be all of Becker County, all of Clearwater, and then all of Monoma here. So we had to spend some time just with addresses and stuff to narrow it down to that number of 38.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess the best route is probably just go per county, I think, and, yeah, I think that's a statistic that we could just put out there is how many per county, because I think Monoma's probably the bulk of District 2, I think, and Raymond's in Clearwater, and there's 0 cases up there, and Becker's Umgee's county, so I know that Becker's been the biggest, but Becker is a big county, which encompasses Detroit Lakes and Frazee and Perham, so I know that number is always going to be bigger than what the other 2 counties north of it, so. But make good, Chad.
Thank you. Take care, everyone.
You too.
You too.
Monica, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Well, race updates.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on wild rice. The season is right around the corner. Lower Rice Lake is looking really good. So barring any negative weather, it should be a really good harvest, similar to last year's. I have contacted the EOC requesting guidance on how to hold the refuge drawing safely, how to purchase rice safely, and then guidance to give ricers also when they're out harvesting and at the landing. We are still trying to figure out how to hold the refuge drawing. We plan to hold this drawing on the 3rd Thursday of August, and normally we do it at the Whiteoak Community Center, but right now we're thinking, you know, is it best to do that? Can we hold it at the Powwow Ground? Should we do it virtually? So we're trying to figure it out. We're hoping to have the specifics done in about a week or so. A notice went in the paper just stating that the date of the drawing, and we're going to be putting out on different press releases as the specifics of it.
Monica,
I know DMV. Oh, go ahead.
well, Monica, reach out to Roman. He can put you on our YouTube channel, so you can do it live somewhere.
Okay, that sounds good. Have you guys thought about a budget for wild rice this year for purchasing?
Well, Monica, this is Umsey. We were just talking about that when Scott was in here earlier. You know, we're trying to, I would like to see us be able to use some of this COVID relief funding, you know, to be used to purchase wild rice and stuff, but I think there's some problems with, we wouldn't be able to resell it, but we'd have to give it away or whatever, you know, to the food shelves and to our tribal members. But I mean, this is a big income for a shitload of our members here, you know, that depend on this each year, you know, like I said, you know, to pay their bills and feed and clothe their families and, you know, and get them through the winter months. So I don't know what your thoughts.
You know, I talked with.
I don't know what your thoughts
well, my
are
thoughts
on
with Scott and Paula are wild rice is food, and that's the way we need to look at it. It's food, and we have to be able to use some of that money to help us out with it. On the truck and trailer part of the CARES money, that would be, you know, John being able to deliver the rice, help, you know, pick up the green rice.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I think it's a legitimate cost item, but I mean, that's really something for Scott and Paula to look at, you know, what can be purchased with that money.
You know, then what happens?
Liz,
and then what happens if we have what happens if we have a couple major storms and wipes out our #1 lake on the reservation here, and then people go without? You know, I think we should be able to utilize some of that, you know, some kind of a subsistence for there.
I agree. Well, I agree fully with you. I wish we could purchase finishing equipment. You know, I think we should be able to do some different things with rice just because it's food, and I think food is that's the way we need to look at it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I did send Liz a document that has, you know, kind of what went on last year with different numbers.
You guys want to take a look
at that? And start with, you handed it out? Okay.
Yeah, I did. There's there should be three pieces to it.
Okay. So on there, you can see what was spent last year when, you know, we started out at $2 a pound, but pretty much right away went up to $3 a pound. You'll see all the different finishers and where the rice went, how much, you know, finishing rate, what we got in finished rice. So just to kind of keep that in mind when you're thinking about the budget and what you're looking at for this coming fall. Normally the refuge is going to start up here at the end of August. John's going to do a review of those lakes again today. We're working on a different permitting system with them that, you know, don't have to handle so much paper between people. And I think he's gonna take another trip out to Lower Rice and see how things are going. One other thing to know is that the last spring, we put that resolution in place for leaching. That resolution is still in effect right now, and that's what, essentially it said no harvest permits are required. We're hoping to keep that the same for ricing. We just need the tribal ID to do that. Are you guys comfortable with that?
I think that's fine with me.
Yeah, because we could all subsidize that through our COVID money. We could pay ourselves to pay that fee. So we can look at that too. We'll have Scott do an analysis of all this, the fees and what we spent and the food. And I think that we can come up with something better, even subsidize buying the rice and offering the ricers, a bonus, or, we could look at doing something out there. And that's something that we'll have up here in the next meeting or two, that we'll have probably a more clearer picture on what we're going to spend. And I know the ricers are going to reach out to all 5 of us on, what we're going to start out at buying. I know, of course, we all start out low because it's green. It doesn't come back, at 40% or 42%, whatever it comes back at. So that's why each reservation has that, when it opens up. And of course, we want to hear from the ricing committees down in Rice Lake. Is like, what do you expect to open up our lakes? And I know the state always opens up way early. So, I mean, do we want to have our ricers go up there and beat on it before it's even ripe? So I guess this is the questions that I put out and raised down here too. District 1 is like, and Ray works directly with the racing committee down there on when our lake should open up. So that's what I think the council here that we look at is like, we take direction from our rice committee that we have in place down there. So, and of course, your team, input too is really highly recommended too, that we look at what we're all doing. So, Miigwech.
One quick question. One statement. DMV is going to be putting out a press release regarding harvest permit, and so the press release is going to say that your permit that you purchased 2019 is still valid. If you don't have one, you don't need to get one. And so she'll just have a different little statement like that Sherry's going to put out. I know Mike is available if you do have more questions on that piece. Then the next part they're going to start doing is, when she does get the harvest permit in, she will start mailing those out to elders, veterans that qualify for the fee waiver, and any disabled individuals. They're going to get their deer tag and harvest permits in the mail based on the 2019 documents that she has. So we need to start looking at this, maybe this in a month or so, with harvest permits, we're going to have deer tags. Something for you guys to start thinking about is we'll have to reverse that resolution regarding harvest permits this fall.
Okay.
And one more item, the seasonal use resource permits are still suspended. Those are the ones where we have members of other tribes come here to harvest. Are you still want to keep it that way, still discontinue them, or would you like to look at allowing them again?
I'd like to keep it that way. I think we need to take care of our members right here at home here before we allow any other tribal members to come.
Yeah.
I know last year when we went through this, I know it kind of created an uproar. So I know that sometimes I think council needs to all chime in on this and how you feel from it. So I think right now we can keep it the way, just keep it for band members only. So as a need basis that comes along. So, but, okay, Miigwech, Monica.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
You want to call Tito?
Yeah.
I will take a break, you guys. We'll take a 10-minute break again. We'll, Miigwech.
You get that final draft?